Welcome to the third episode of Visa, the video podcast for female masters. I'm Rob.
And I'm Kerry. Thanks for coming to see our third episode again. We really appreciate it. And it's fun to be in front of the cameras again with you to talk all about female masking. We've got some really cool stuff this episode.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to having another discussion about the hobby that we enjoy so much and sharing information that we have with you. So I'd like to start the show as we do each episode with a segment where we talk about what we've been up to that we call Toss Up.
First off, I want to talk about the fact that this marks the 20th anniversary of a movie that you and I made together called Maiden China.
Can't believe it's been 20 years.
We went to San Diego Comic-Con, I think it was still called it back then, in 1998. And then we came back to my place in Seattle, and we had all these superhero costumes, and we thought, hey, let's make a movie! And I think we did it in 2 days.
I believe that's correct. We came up with some ideas and just started writing the script, and I don't know if it was your idea originally or my idea. I think it was a combination of the two to do this kind of superhero mashup with so many characters. And what the result came out was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had just gotten my first digital video camera and being able to digitally edit on my computer. So one of the things that we used quite a bit was split screens in order to have 8 of us on the camera at the same time, even though it's just the 2 of us in the movie. Even having a fight scene at the end, where again, it's just 2 of us. We didn't even have any crew. When the camera's moving, and one of us is holding the camera, and the other person's, ah!
But I recall that you were incredibly sick that day, and you soldiered on throughout that whole production.
I had con crud or a cold or something, but I felt so terrible. And it was just like, let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. Let's just get it done.
I also recall at one point, for necessity, I had to wear your Spider-Woman costume. So that's actually me in that video wearing the outfit that you wore in the last episode.
It's got some good gags in it. Some of it's very dated. I mean, we have a reference at Kathy Lee Gifford. You're going to have to look her up on Wikipedia to even understand who that she was. I think she was the Princess of Television at the time or something.
We also used some music which was not licensed to us. I believe it was from Akira.
Yeah.
And the opening shot with the titles was a rice bag, a bag of rice. It just had a cool Asian symbol on it.
Look, it's Chinese. We could use this. I think I remember, like a year later, I was in Tokyo, Japan, and showed it to people. And of course, they could read Chinese, and they were like, oh, rice? What?
It was a total ham-fisted effort, but it came out fun. And that's kind of the spirit of what we like to do. Just go out there and do something and see what you get. And sometimes it's good.
Yeah, it was a fun movie to make. And the reason we don't put the whole thing up here, it's shot in standard definition and the music and everything like that. And, we've done better since then. But it was a fun thing to do. And, boy, 20 years, huh?
And we've had a few people ask if we would make a sequel to that. I think we've shot around the idea of Maiden Taiwan as the sequel. Who knows? If we come up with the right idea, possibly.
That's what we need, more sequels. I think we put the kibosh on sequels last episode.
This is true. So, we'll see. It's a possibility.
Anyway. So,
what else have you been up to?
Not much. I've been pretty busy. But thanks to you, I actually did some shopping and bought some new wigs. This is one of them. And Rogue helped me pick them out. And this outfit here. I kind of look like a sailor today, I think.
It's a very cute outfit, and I'm glad you decided to branch out into some more different styles. It's a good style for you.
Unlike maybe some of you, I am completely allergic to shopping. But it was nice to get desperate. I finally had to do it. And I bought some new equipment, too. I bought a new Canon DSLR. In fact, this shot here is being shot on my new camera. And later on, you'll see some stills that we shot with it. And I've been taking Photoshop courses. I'm really trying to make my photographs look just a bit better.
Fantastic. And we have some photos that we can share later on from a photo shoot showing the results of all this learning that Kerry's been doing.
What's been up with you lately?
So I've been working on more costumes, as I love to do. I made this outfit. This is a Butterick pattern 6018 for anyone who wants to make it. I used a nice copper fabric that I enjoyed. This is actually the second outfit I made for this podcast. The first one was a red dress And it came out rather nice. I liked it. But I wasn't quite in love with it. I wanted to do something else. So I made this outfit, and I liked it much better. Being that it's going to be fall when we release this podcast, I thought the orange hair and the copper, definitely a fall color, it would be appropriate.
Yeah, no, it's a great outfit. I like it a lot. Moving on, it's time for our next segment of our podcast, Speak Up, where we answer questions from you, the viewers. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Rogue has not seen these questions. Can I see your real face?
You are seeing my real face. This is who I am. This is Rogue. And the other person is a different person than this. So you really are seeing my real face. How about you?
I have a deal with YouTube here, and that is not to scare the horses. And that would definitely be the case if we took it off. And who want to see two boring people just talking on camera? So, this is what makes us unique, and we're going to stick with it. So, sorry. This is a question about a day in the life by Akimura. Is it just me, or does the mask look like Chloe from Detroit Become Human?
I know that reference. It's a video game.
A video game.
A PlayStation 4 video game. I have not played it, but interesting question. I will have to look and see how it compares to that character. It's one that I'd like to play in the future, and interesting. I will definitely look that up.
It was one of my Jessica masks, wasn't it?
It wasn't Jessica mask. It was new at the time, and we wanted to introduce it in a cool way, so we made that video. It'll be interesting to see if it looks. Maybe we can show a side-by-side comparison.
What mask is the one on the right wearing? I assume that means for the last episode.
It was an original mask that I made, and I think we discussed during the podcast that it was based on a mold that Kerry had and that I obtained and did a little work on, but it was one that I created myself, so it is unique. It's not one that's available for sale.
I think it was a Joan mask originally. You might see some similarity between the Joan latex mask on my site and hers, but it's gone through a little bit of transformation, and of course now it's silicone, so and the masks look different. I mean, if Rogue was to put this mask on, she would not look like me. That whole Mission Impossible thing doesn't work. Captain Dots wants to know, hey, what do you think about some of those masks coming out of Asia?
Well, again, in the last episode, I did demonstrate one that I was very impressed with from E. Young. I think they're fantastic. I look forward to seeing more. It's nice to see a larger selection available, and I think they're getting better with each iteration. The sculptors, the designers are learning how to do it. There's still one thing I'd like to see them try, and I've never seen anyone try yet.
What's that?
Put a kind of a felting on the inside of the mask, so it doesn't hold everywhere the same way. Around the face, you certainly don't want anything, but it'd be more comfortable if possibly there could be like a fabric interior that isn't pulling on hair and other things. It would be really easy to just do some spray adhesive and some felting so that area doesn't have the kind of sticky texture that the rest of the mask would. I think that could be an improvement in the future.
Josie asks, is a multi-part question, but please consider releasing a weekly, monthly show. Should we explain why we do not do the show every week?
It takes a lot of effort, weeks to prepare for this episode. I have been working on the outfit, how I'm going to do my makeup, practicing, and then we write a script and we discuss it. The actual recording takes an effort to set up and record. Then when we edit it, this all takes time, and we're happy to do it. We're aiming for 3 or 4 times a year, possibly quarterly, but that's about the most we can do. I would be surprised if we go any faster than that.
Yeah. We have a thing called real life, and we have to have jobs.
Yes.
Pay our rent, buy food, buy health insurance. It all costs money. I figure if we had a Patreon that was funding us for about $100,000 a year, then you and I could do this full time. But I don't see that happening because everybody wants everything to be free on the internet.
Also, I think I'd like to focus more on quality rather than quantity. We need some time to gather interesting things to talk about, a new mask or a review, a new product. And those come out in time, so we need to gather up those materials that we can share with you. If we were to do this weekly or monthly, there wouldn't be a whole lot to talk about.
The really popular video vlogs online that have 6 million subscribers is because they're, they come out every day or every week. They're very consistent. And yeah, all we're interested in is just we want to have more subscribers than anybody else that might be a goal. But again, I've had YouTube videos on YouTube for 11 years now. I've got plenty of subscribers, plenty of views. Don't have to be number one. I'd rather make something I'm proud of than just be pounding stuff out just to get hits.
Makes sense to me.
Also, I love the interviewer's outfit, which to me is reminiscent of the character Dolores from Westworld. So cool, sexy, and beautiful. Reminiscent, you were doing Dolores from Westworld.
And we did explain that in the episode, that yes, this was definitely directly inspired by Dolores of Westworld. That was the
I don't know if you
opening
can't say it, but you know.
of the episode featured the character Dolores speaking to the camera, so I couldn't be more overt than that.
Do we want to do a wrap-up of Westworld, since the season's over now?
I did enjoy the second season. It caused me to have a lot of angst about what the series creators are doing, but I hope that they're going to kind of right the ship by the third season.
Yeah, Dolores sort of turned out to be sort of the antagonist of everything.
Indeed.
She definitely is a ends justifies the means sort of character, and I don't tend to like those kind of characters because, you know, they tend to screw everybody over in their, you know, I my noble cause, and there are other characters I thought were behaving better than she was.
But the quality was there. Many standout episodes. It was a wonderful series.
Oh yeah, definitely a must-watch series.
And I look forward to the third season. I just heard that Aaron Paul is being cast in the third season. He's from
Your
Breaking
guy
Bad.
from Breaking Bad. Cool. Roxanne asks, what got you into masking?
For me, it's always been an accessory to costuming. It was not the first thing that I gravitated toward. I gravitated toward making the outfits. But in order for the outfits to look right, they had to have the right face. And so it's used as an accessory for me to make sure that the outfits that I create look right.
Yeah, I've always been interested in female masking, but usually on other females. And like Rogue, I didn't start making my own masks until basically I made that Spider-Woman costume, and I needed something to be in the face there. I didn't want my ugly mug there. And so I made my first mask so that I could do the Spider-Woman character. And originally I was much more interested in making spandex outfits, and the masks were just sort of ancillary to that. And people started saying, hey, where'd you get that mask? Can I buy one? And, you know, the rest is history. But I didn't really intend to go into the masking business. I was more interested in costuming. And finally, Karis wants to know, do you usually unmask before eating, or have you taught yourself to eat with the mask still on?
There are instances when you can eat with a mask, but I think you risk looking really foolish, so I don't recommend it. If you have a drink with a straw, certainly. I mean, when I've been out to nightclubs and a drink with a straw, you're fine. But, you know, I would not eat a meal. I think that's just asking for trouble. Don't do the things that you wouldn't normally do in a costume. Some people can cosplay and go have a nice dinner, I guess, but if you were to be messy as an eater, you would smudge your makeup. You wouldn't look very good coming out of that dinner, so use good judgment.
People ask me that, you know, can I eat my mask when they buy one from me? And I usually say, if it's something solid, you can. You certainly wouldn't want to try to eat spaghetti. Me personally, I do not eat or drink when masking, but it's not because of the mask, it's because I'm wearing a corset. I don't want anything going in down there. You know, everything's all sucked in anyway. I'm going to go a little hungry for a while, and then we're done, take everything off, and then eat like a horse.
It's very normal to suffer where you are if you are a customer.
That's right.
Coming in the territory.
If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll answer them next time.
It's time for the next segment of our podcast, which we're calling Makeup. We're going to change things up a little bit this time. Instead of doing a product demonstration, we have a bit of masking history to share with you. We've brought out some masks from our own personal collection. These were licensed, available for sale in-store masks. And I have brought the oldest mask that I have, which I believe is a Wonder Woman mask from 1980. At least that's how it was sold to me on eBay. Believe it or not, it is still pliable, even though it's that old. The latex is still pliable, but it isn't the greatest looking mask, certainly, but it does have the original staples on the side, where obviously there was a piece of elastic where it was held onto a woman's face. The reason why I'm not sure if it's Wonder Woman is that tiara certainly does not look like Wonder Woman's tiara in any of the incarnations that I've seen. It looks more like a princess tiara, so that it could be a Snow White. There's no identifying label on here saying what it is. There is a manufacturer stamp that says copyright 1980, Baymore Industries, and I can't quite make out the city, but it says Maryland, MD. So if anyone out there knows anything about this mask, I would love to learn more. This is definitely the oldest mask that I have.
It looks like the latex version of those Ben Cooper Halloween masks you used to get. Ben Cooper used to be the name in children's Halloween things. You'd get a Spider-Man outfit or Superman costume, and there'd be a plastic face mask that you would wear, with eye holes. And this looks just like that, except it's made of rubber instead of plastic.
So what did you make, Kerry?
So my vintage mask is this Bride of Frankenstein mask. It is a full head latex mask. Obviously the bride here. The things that are really interesting about it is that the hair is glued on, and there's a zipper in the back. It's the first time I've ever seen a mask with a zipper in it before, and it inspired me years later to start installing zippers in my masks. Believe it or not, the first couple masks that I made didn't have any openings in the back. I literally would stretch them on. I put a lot of stress on them and stuff like that, and it was like, I could do a zipper like that Bride of Frankenstein mask, and so that's what I did. But this was one of the very few female masks I found in the 1980s in costume shops, and the fact that it was a full head rubber mask was quite the bonus.
Very cool. I really like the detailing that they put into the paint job, and somebody did a very nice sculpt on it. Now, I had always heard the reason why we don't see more female masks as characters or just natural humans is that women don't like wearing masks. That's what we've been told year after year from manufacturers, that they prefer to use makeup and they won't wear masks. I don't know if that's true. I'd like to hear other people comment in our comment section. If you're a natural female, do you not like wearing masks? Is that a reason why, we don't see more of these? Or is that the manufacturers, who may be male, are just more out of touch? Would you like to see more of the female masks available on the market? This is fun. It reminds me of like a female mask version of Antiques Roadshow.
Yes. We'll have to keep an eye on examples of female masks in the media in a segment we call Heads Up. What do you have for this time, Rogue?
I saw two different versions of female masks in the media in the last summer. I went to see the movie Teen Titans Go to the movies with my family and saw that they had used extensive female masking in that movie. So it may not be the type of movie that our community is interested in, but definitely check it out if you have the opportunity, because it has quite a few unmasking scenes. The other video that I saw was for the HBO comedy series Silicon Valley. They interact with a artificially intelligent robot, and at one point when that robot is disassembled, the face is pulled off, and a man actually puts it over his own face and displays it quite prominently. Worth checking out.
There was something similar in an episode of Elementary recently. That's the Sherlock Holmes in New York series with Johnny Lee Miller. There was a intelligent sex bot that apparently had witnessed a crime. So they bring it into the station, and it's just a bust of a head. It was in a silicone face, and it was animatronic, and they were trying to ask questions and seeing who the killer was. This kind of reminds me of when I was much younger, being interested in fembots. But in my defense, I was a teenager, and it was before we had the internet.
It reminds me of the movie Serenity. He killed me with a sword now. Remember the robot?
My heads up this episode is a 3-year-old music video called Not Real by Stealing Sheep that uses a mask motif. The mask maker was a hair and makeup designer named Natasha from the UK, and last year she directed another video called I Bow Down that uses busts as a motif. So it's very interesting checking out her website, because she obviously is very interested in makeup and masks and designs and seems to be sort of the go-to person when somebody wants to have that in their videos.
Yeah, it was a very interesting video. It was nice to see another music video that is utilizing masks, some form of disguise in it. It seems to be quite a popular theme among music videos.
Yeah. So if you see anything like that out and about on the internet or on TV, let us know. We'll feature it in a future show. Now it's time for one of our most popular segments, Show Up! or recreate something in the media.
I draw my inspiration for costumes from a variety of sources, including video games. There's a popular series of games called Fallout, which take place after a nuclear war. One of the characters in that series is a fictional spokesmodel for a popular brand of soda from before the war, called Nuka-Cola. Nuka-Cola in the game is as popular as Coca-Cola is in our world, and there are still massive quantities of it available after the war. The spokesmodel for Nuka-Cola was named Nuka Girl, and she appears on billboards and other advertisements that still populate the landscape of Fallout. I really liked the design of the costume, so I decided to see if I could be Nuka Girl. I convinced Kerry and another friend of mine to do an outdoor photo shoot in the early morning hours, just as the sun was rising at Gasworks Park in Seattle. Gasworks Park used to be a gas refining plant, and much of the existing pipes and machinery are still on display there. It made for an excellent backdrop for this character, and the early morning glow from the sun gave everything an eerie orange glow, much like the color scheme found in the game. It took a lot of effort from everyone involved to do this photo shoot, but I'm really happy with how the pictures came out, and it was a lot of fun.
Now for a segment we call All Dolled Up. We remember the making of that costume. And so here is Nuka Girl. Sure. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I can actually hear you.
Yes.
Well, welcome, Nuka Girl.
Thank you.
First, tell us about this outfit.
Well, this is a lot of fun to make. It's made from a vinyl leather that I found and thought it would be appropriate for this outfit. I had a little fun interpreting some of the images that I saw. She has some interesting circles on the outside of her outfit, and they're not clearly defined as to what they are. So, being that this is a spacesuit type of outfit, I made them into gauges. So they each have a dial and some kind of a gauge going on there. I wasn't quite sure. It could have been almost a bottle opener. Because a lot of the outfit is very bottle themed. If you notice, I have a backpack there. Now, the backpack was made out of plastic bottles, soda bottles. That, again, seemed appropriate. The holster that the gun sits in the photos is like a drink container, but it wasn't very practical shape for holding a gun, so I did have to kind of squish it down a little bit. And then I did make my own. This is called the Thirst Zapper, and it is an actual gun. It shoots water. It's a water pistol. But it's based on the design, not an exact copy, but it is based on the design from the game. Clearly had fun with the helmet.
Where did this come from?
This was a glass or plastic dome from a chandelier. A friend of mine found it for me. So a giant chandelier needed a dome, and you can order it online because it's seamless. It doesn't have a seam. Some of the plastic domes do for spacesuits. They have a seam that is quite visible, so this was better for that. Also had fun and made one of the actual Nuka-Cola bottles from the game. So those were fun props. It's always fun to have props when you're shooting.
Well, as you folks know, I never have played video games. I have no idea who Yuka Girl was until you told me about it.
Look what you're missing out on.
Something interesting, after we did that photo shoot, the very next day, I was riding a bus to work, and there's a guy who's obviously a gamer. He has a PAX stickers on his backpack, and he's got this giant jug of liquid, and it's got a Nuka Girl logo on there.
There you go.
Like, I know what that is. That's Nuka Girl.
You've been introduced to a new form of pop culture.
That's right. That's pretty cool for, a character that it's not really in the game as a character. It's just a symbol in the game.
Yeah, she was a spokesmodel for the game, and she appears frequently throughout the game. There's an opportunity to obtain her costume and have your character wear it, or have your companion character wear it, which is fun. That's in the Nuka World expansion for that game. I love the character. I love the pinup style from the images that I saw. I have a nice big poster on my wall of Nuka Girl. I'm inspired, and that's usually how I decide to make my costumes.
Yeah.
Whatever inspires me.
Oh, yeah. That's really great. Really good job of recreation there. And the hair and everything like that.
The hair was a challenge to find the right hair, and it wasn't cheap, but it was worth it to get the right hair.
Yeah. Well, and you've seen our pictures and the behind-the-scenes video that we shot. And it was really great kind of being out on location.
It was a lot of fun to go out into that photo shoot. I think that was the perfect background. We're fortunate to be near Gasworks Park, but it was a great backdrop for what we wanted to do.
Well, the girl of your planet Cola is calling.
I must go.
Oh, we want to thank Nuka Girl for coming. Our next segment is Talk Up, where we do an interview. And this episode, it's Trish. Take it away.
My name's Trish. I'm 23 years old. I live in Chicago. I've been a masker for almost 4 years. My other hobbies include regular cosplay and video games.
What kind of characters do you cosplay as?
I do Ruby Rose from the series Ruby. I'm also planning on doing some characters from the Dresden Files novels.
So what things, if any, inspired you to get into masking?
Well, the biggest thing was there was a cartoon that I watched growing up. It was a CG cartoon called Max Steel. And there was this sort of Baroness-esque villainess who did a lot of masking to fool Max and his companions and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of really what originated it for me.
So how many and what kind of masks do you own?
At the moment, I have 5 silicone masks. I have Taylor, CreaFX Taylor. I have a CFX Roxy. She's my second favorite. I also have a Real Flesh Playmate. And actually the young Elsa mask that you reviewed in episode 2. I just got that a couple days ago.
Do you have a favorite mask?
Really, it's kind of all depending on the mood that I'm in. If I'm just kind of sitting around and just want to relax in a mask, I'll go with Roxy. Just because she's a lot thicker, so she's a much tighter feeling fit, which is kind of comforting. She is a little bit more expressive in some cases compared to Taylor, but I think that's just because of her. She's meant to be built around a female core, essentially. Taylor's a close second if I'm really looking to do pictures. She's just as expressive sometimes. And then I haven't really worn my Playmate in a while, just because my head is so small. So in order to get her to sit right on my face, I have to wear a little winter hat underneath to kind of push the back out and push her up against my face a little bit more.
Do you have anybody that you mask with regularly?
No, I don't really mask with a whole lot of people. I have a couple people that I meet up with regularly, and we do sort of some mask stuff, but we never really do shoots or go out or anything like that. I don't to my knowledge, I don't really know a whole lot of people in my area that mask. I know people who are interested, but nobody else that really owns any actual masks.
What's your favorite thing about masking?
Masking for me is just sort of a temporary, I get to have fun thinking I'm someone else for a little bit. I get to try on another face, kind of wonder what that identity would be like. And then get to go back and be myself. I'm just as comfortable being me as I am wearing a mask.
What's your biggest ambition when it comes to female masking? What would you like to see happen?
I think my biggest dream for masking is something that a lot of us would probably want. I'd really like to see a full coverage suit done. I know there was a maker in China who he completed a full body male suit, and he was in the middle of making a female one, and then he just sort of dropped off the face of the earth and hasn't really posted anything more about her. So that was kind of sad to see that project kind of abruptly end. I kind of go for that coverage right now. I have a set of sailor's gloves, the long gloves, and a femme skin as well. So that kind of gives me a bit more coverage. That's kind of something that I would like to see going forward. Is something that gives maskers a bit more coverage.
What would you like to see more of when it comes to female masking?
I think we're starting to move that way, but I'd kind of like to see a little bit more understanding. I feel like there are a lot of people who stumble across masking. There's really two kinds of people that stumble across masking. People who find it and say, oh, okay, that's neat, or people who find it and say, oh, what is that? I'm in the weird part of YouTube again.
I've heard that one or twice.
I've seen that on some comments of your videos before, yeah. But then you get some people who genuinely want to understand. I mean, there was that video that Shane did with your Jessica mask, or there was one more recently. I think her name is Nikita.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, she did like a sort of makeup tutorial on one of the young masks that only goes down to the middle of the neck. And I thought those were some really good positive videos for the community to see, to say, hey, we're here, we're a little bit strange, but we're not here to hurt anybody.
Anything else you want to add?
I feel like I just want to give a message to anybody who's just kind of like hanging back in the shadows and just watching. It's like, put yourself out there, talk to people, make some friends. You never know what's gonna come out of those friendships in the future that you make.
I'd like to thank Trish for being in the interview there, and if you would like to be interviewed in a future episode, drop us a line, and we'll set about arranging it. Well, this has been fun, but it's time to wrap up this episode of Face Up.
Yes, thank you for watching, and thank you for all the positive comments that we've received. The helpful suggestions and feedback, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. And please subscribe to our video channel so you can be sure to know when our next video gets put up there. And please visit my website, www.maskon.com, where you could buy masks like the one I'm wearing. And also there are stories and features that you can read more about Made in China. We have behind the scenes and some stills there. You can hear all about how we made that movie 20 years ago. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again in our next episode. Don't know when, but we'll be working on it sometime soon.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.